Let's get it done. Your April 2023 Utah real estate market update. Let's blabber about median sold value, the state of the market, and then some general Paden blabberings and such. Hope you're doing well. My name is Paden, I'm Clancy Fairbanks, and let's talk about it. First subject that we want to talk about is median sold value. May of 2022, median sold value for the state of Utah was $540,000. I blabbered about it a lot, I'm blabbered about it again. That number consistently went down by 3%, 4%, 1%, blah, 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 all the way to January of 2023, where it was $455,000. A decrease of about 15% if you round numbers and such. That consistent decrease turned into a consistent increase for 2 months, going to $465,000 and $479,900 for an increase of about 5% over the last 2 months before last month. Then this last month, we went down to $475,000. So for the month of April, median sold value decreased by about 1%. The reason I love median sold value so much is it's a good idea of what supply and demand are doing. This is a huge indicator that demand went down quite substantially, I assume because of interest rates, and that's one of the leading indicators or one of the leading reasons that prices decrease so quickly over time. But we saw either demand increase or supply decrease, making it so that median sold value started increasing for about 2 months. And then it went down 1%, so another indicator things are changing. What you have to realize is that we had a huge line spike going down. We had a little bit going up and now went down again. This is a great indicator that the market is starting to level out. Could the line spike down again? Possibly. Could the line spike up again? Absolutely. But at least we're in a standard market where the median sold value is kind of going up and down and the market's doing something that it's trying to adjust. This bouncing of the market is important to show that it's starting to find its equilibrium. And the equilibrium is where we really want it to be. We don't want the market being so cold that everybody's selling it, but we don't want the market being so hot that everybody's getting into it and it's overheating. We want a market like this that is going up and down and going with the flow. We want in the wintertime values to go down a little bit. We want in the summertime prices to go up a little bit. Just a good, healthy market that is actually going with the flow of what supply and demand actually are. So I really wanted to talk about median sold value really quick because I think it's one of the most important stats. So this goes into part number 2. Let's just talk about the general state of the market. Talking about April of 2023, 2,762 homes sold, which is decreased by about 45% compared to 1 year ago where it was 4,004 homes that sold. You would immediately say, oh, demand is down right around 45%. This is why home prices are going to keep decreasing. The second piece that I want you to kind of understand about this is that listings entered for April of 2023 was 4,004. Listings entered for April of 2022 was 5,691. So that was a decrease of 42%. So supply is down by 42% and demand is down by 45%, which is showing why that equilibrium is starting to happen. And your next question is going to naturally be, oh, okay, Paden, let's compare stuff to how crazy it was right now. And let's not even, think about pre-pandemic. I know what question you're asking because I've had 6 or 7 people ask that same question. Why are we comparing the market now to a standard market that was a year ago when it's not a standard market? It was a crazy, wild time. Why wouldn't we compare it to pre-pandemic times? Okie doke, let's do that. So, compared to 2019, which would easily be considered pre-pandemic, the amount of homes sold is decreased by 50%, and the amount of homes listed is decreased by about 55%. So once again, supply and demand are way down compared to 6 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever. And that's really important to note that that's once again why supply and demand are starting to level out, is because yes, those indicators are going down, but they're going down succinctly or together or whatever and whatnot. So next, an interesting stat to look at and understand is that for the month of April, list to sold value, the amount that the home was listed for and what it actually sold for was at 95%. So if a home was listed for $100,000, it sold for $95,000. That number was 96% 1 month before. So we're not quite at a point where it's at that 98 to 100%, which is kind of where you really want to be. But it's a lot better than the 92 or 93% that we were seeing 4 months ago. And it's really important to note that sellers' expectations are much more realistic in today's market. And that's a huge piece of the market starting to equalize out. The last stat, this is probably the most concerning stat that we have, is that days on market went from 6 to 51 between May of last year to January of this year. And then from January of this year to April of this year, it went down to 29. The next stat that we kind of want to blabber about is days on market. So we saw between May of last year to January of this year, days on market increased from 6 to 51. You know, a huge increase or whatever, whatnot. But something that's wildly concerning is that we saw between January to May of this year, it went all the way down to 29 days in a straight fashion. So next month, if we continually see days on market going down, it's an indicator that there's a lot more buyers in the market and they're gonna cause a ruckus. It's just gonna be a whole thing. We really want that days on market to go back up to that 60 and hover around 60 to 70, 60 to 50, kind of stay around that area. If it keeps decreasing the way that it's decreasing, you're gonna start seeing a lot more demand in the Utah market, and it's concerning just in general. The state of the market, everything's a lot more balanced than what it used to be. We're actually starting to see trends that make sense, that aren't just straight up or straight down, and the market's starting to find its equilibrium. This is a really good sign, but we should really be watching days on market. But hopefully that gives you a good idea of where we're currently at in the Utah real estate market. And that brings us to my final point, point 3. Is it a good time to buy a home? Is it a good time to sell a home? What's my advice? My advice is always the same. If you're trying to buy a home, try to buy it at a discount if at all possible. Have a mortgage payment that's manageable for you for 10 years, because over a 10-year period of time, the home's gonna typically increase in value. If you're trying to sell your home, try to give your agent 6 to 10 months to figure out the best way to clean up your home, prepare it, and so you can get the most bang for your buck selling your property. If you're trying to list it quickly, you're trying to list it so that you can sell quickly. Trying to list your home and do it in 1 week without a plan, you're gonna lose money. And then you're gonna have to decrease your price to a point that it's gonna make it so that you're losing money just because you didn't have proper planning. I mean that as nice as I can, but it's good to have a plan for 6 months to sell your home. Some people can't do that, totally understand, but it's no big deal. And lastly, make sure that you understand that by county, it's a lot different. In Cache County, days on market still above 40 days. Down south, we're starting to see some counties that are below 20 days. These aren't things that you need to be so concerned about or freaking out about, but you need to understand the specific county and how it's going at the moment. If you have any questions on a specific county, just let me know, no big deal. Have a plan for what you're doing, but that's all I really got for you today. Hope you're all doing really well, and zippity-doo-dah and goodbye now.